集結せし最強の100人。あの夢の頂に今夜立つのは誰だ。
滑った飛びつけ。
2年半ぶりの完全制覇、その瞬間が目前に迫っている。世界中から挑戦者が集う鋼鉄の魔女。リニューアルされた新エリアで繰り広げられるかつてない惨劇。だがそれは栄光への序章だった。今宵ついに新時代の英雄が誕生する。
Shin SASUKE has seen a renewal. There's new obstacles across all 4 stages. Can anyone beat the tower and become champion? We're about to find out. This is your enemy. This is what you come here for. To take down the magic castle of steel. All 100 of you have been selected with this sole purpose. This is your mission. This is your life. History will change forever. For the 3rd time ever in Shin SASUKE's history, the first stage of the Magic Castle Steel, the ultimate survival attack, is about to begin. The Magic Castle Steel has been enchanted. In the 3rd tournament of Shin SASUKE, will anyone be able to complete the redesigned first stage? Half of the obstacles on this first stage are brand new, and the other half are unchanged. The time limit is still at 100 seconds, but the faster course could very well lead to mistakes. If you make one slip up, you're going in the drink. We're gonna start with number 1. Barry says 100 seconds on the clock, just like the past 2 tournaments. First obstacle, the Rock and Toby needs to dash across those 5 steps. And they got it. Alright, now for the circle hammer, you have to take the rope, slide down the track, and land that dismount pad. Going for the 80, goes overboard! Barry says the first victim to the redesigned first stage just misses the dismount on the circle hammer. First person to face this redesigned first stage, Barry took on the first obstacle with no issues. But on the circle hammer, this is new compared to the log grip. You want to stop here, but instead he just goes way overboard and his tournament is over. Well, we're gonna skip on over to number 4, Udemy. The next 2 competitors after Barry says just basically sucked, so we're gonna just pretend they didn't exist. Already onto the circle hammer here. Gets that, and he goes way too fast, and his tournament is done. Goes way too fast on the second obstacle. As you can see, let's take a look at the replay. Yeah, he just goes way too fast. He's not able to even make it to the dismount platform by any means. Well, we are yet to see the back half of this first stage. Maybe our next competitor can get us there. This is number 5, Nolpai. They competed in the past 2 tournaments. Already onto this first obstacle. He says, have no fear, Nolpai is here. Apparently he copied that from Rich Squigs from what I know of. But I believe that went along a different line. Already onto the circle hammer here, and he just... Wait. Okay, he disconnected. Yeah, he just disconnected. He failed the circle hammer. Let's move on. Well, number 6, Caleb Davey, our next returning competitor, is on the starting line for the first stage. 100 seconds on the clock. Already onto this first obstacle. Gets the first step. And does not even get the second. Doesn't even last 5 seconds, and I don't even have to do a replay. Let's just move on before we get any worse. Well, let's move on to number 8. This is Acreus. I don't know if that's how you say the name properly, but they competed in the previous tournament, did decent for themselves, but we hadn't seen anybody make that past that second obstacle yet. The circle hammer gets through the first obstacle. We just saw Caleb Davey fail. Already on the second step. Now he needs to get this rope here. And they get the rope and you get the dismount. They'll be the first person to beat the circle hammer. Now for the returning log grip, it's been moved from the second position to the third position, right on the side. I wouldn't recommend it, but it works out for Aqueous. Now going to be headed up to an old foe that has taken out some top competitors in the previous tournament, the Jumping Spider. You need to go on that tramp, jump into the walls, and make sure to stick across and make it all! Aqueous goes down on the Jumping Spider. The first victim is him. So close on that mount. Let's look at that again. As you can see here. Yikes! Just almost makes it in there. Just couldn't land that ledge, and his tournament is over. One step too far on the Jumping Spider. To another returning competitor. This is number 9, veteran player, also another returning competitor, like I said before. We have seen already one attempt on the Jumping Spider, and they did not make it through. That was Aqueous. Veteran player could be our next competitor. After all, they did go down on the Jumping Spider in the previous tournament, so this could be interesting. Already down to 75 seconds, already about to get off the log grip, which they do. Now for the Jumping Spider. This was the obstacle that took him out in the previous tournament. Gets the speed there. Now it's to go on the tramp and stick it into the walls, and they do! Nicely done, veteran. Nicely done. Now it's to reverse the walls! Oh, veteran! Slips off on the Jumping Spider, and that is it! What happened? Oh my goodness! The faster course has already been claiming competitors here. As you can see, solid pace for the first 3 obstacles. Sticks them out into the Jumping Spider. He gets to the top ledge here. He just does have a good setup, and he just slips down, and his tournament is over. Ah, dang it, veteran. You almost had that one, dude.
前回大健闘ザブングル加藤も撃沈第1ステージクリアの期待がかかった精鋭が次々と消えていくサスケの森今大会大挙参戦したお笑い勢このまま単に前座で終わってしまうのか
For our next challenger, Kui Kid Will 2, just a few months ago, made the 5th obstacle but went down on the bungee bridge that tournament. The bungee bridge has since been replaced with a much harder obstacle, the half-pipe attack. Can anyone get there? Number 11, Kui Kid Will 2, our next returning competitor, may give us the answer. May they clear the first stage? Well, I hope they do. Already onto this first obstacle here. Looking good so far. Already gets that nicely done. Already on to Circle Hammer. This already took out 2 people so far. Maybe 3? I don't remember exactly. Anyways, already onto the log grip. Looking good so far. Go for the first drop. Gets the second, and they're through. Last tournament, they said they were going to fail the second obstacle. Now they're already back here on the 4th obstacle. Now for the Jumping Spider. Can they get into the walls? Yes, they can. Traversing it. Come on, Cooley. Come on. Yes, they've done it. Now we'll be taking our first look at the half-pipe attack. You have to run across that and make it to the rope. Here we go, and he takes a dive! Kui Kid Will completely overshoots the half-pipe attack rope, and he has become the first victim. Let's look at this again. First 4 obstacles looked amazing. Got through Circle Hammer, Log Grip, and the Jumping Spider. First to beat the Jumping Spider today. That is a very good accomplishment. But on the half-pipe attack, this is a new obstacle. It's much harder than Bungee Bridge because the time window is so low. He just overshoots the rope. Just isn't able to grab it. And his tournament is done. Oh my goodness. I have a feeling this is going to be insanely difficult. Well, we're going to move on to our next competitor who's already on the first stage. This is number 13, Overdrive. Already onto the log grip so far. Here we go. Down to about 70 seconds left here. Already gained some concerns from the competitors that this course isn't even beatable. Well, already gets through the jumping spider, so that's a start. Overdrive looking good so far here. Just gets to the top bar, and they have done it. Overdrive now will be the next competitor to face the half pipe attack. Here we go. They run at the plate. Going for it. Oh! Overdrive, not you two! Not you two! The half pipe attack has claimed its latest competitor, its second competitor today. Just undershoots the rope. Oh my goodness! This thing is ruthless! As you can see here, just undershoots the rope, doesn't even nail to make it, and his tournament is over. Well, we're gonna move on to number 16, Paradise, a newcomer looking to make a very strong debut on their first appearance in the third tournament. So far, the half pipe attack has gotten 2 victims in a row. Could he be the first to beat it? I think they can. Well, we believe they can. The Magic Castle Steel has upped its defenses for the third tournament. Already looking good for the lock grip. So far, the lock grip and the jumping spider paired together have been one of the deadliest combinations we've ever seen in Shin SASUKE's history. Going back for the speed again, and they get to jump into the walls. Well done. Looking good. Paradise looking to get out of here. Paradise on their first try beat the jumping spider. Now for the half pipe attack. Nobody's been able to get the rope yet. Here we go. He gets the rope and he's not able to hang on. Out on the brand new half pipe attack. What a stellar debut run. Well, we're going to move on to number 17. You know him. You probably love him. It's Candle Kid already on the circle hammer, trying to get it to go down. And it works out for him. He's able to get the kiss down on the circle hammer. Nicely done so far. Already down to about 70 seconds left heading to the lock grip. He's not falling before the jumping spider, but he wants to beat the jumping spider. Trust me, he wants his family and some production members want him to beat this jumping spider. Can he finally do it? Here we go. He is approaching the 50-second mark as he's setting himself up. Gets into the walls. Nicely done. Channel. Here we go. Light himself up. Come on. No! Channel! The jumping spider gets him again. Hopefully we'll see him back here in Tournament 4, but gosh, that is sad. Well, we're going to move on to number 19. This is Baby Sasha. But I'll just call him Sasha because why not? They're a first-time competitor, already down to 80 seconds, heading up to the log grip so far. Looking good here. Gets the log, grabbing on the back, like a bunch of competitors have been doing today. To break this, number 8, decided to go down the side, throwing logs to the win. Anyway, Sasha is already onto the jumping spider. This is taking out a few people, beating Jano Kid just a few seconds ago. 1 round ago, but it looks like that will not be a status concern as they get to the jumping spider. But this is where we've seen the 2 runs before. Just go out on this obstacle. Here we go. They get the rope, and Sasha has done it. Hell yeah! Well done, dude. Well done. Now we'll be taking our first look at the Great Wall of this tournament. You have to run up the concrete wall and grab the rope, and they missed on their first attempt. They have 30 seconds left. We have not seen anybody get the back half yet, and they miss again. Here we go. They're going for another attempt here. At this point, it's all or nothing. At this point in the first stage, here we go. 20 seconds, trying to get a good run up here on the first stage. Misses, it doesn't even have to get a jump up. We're about to hear that klaxon. Real 2 misses the rope again. Here's the klaxon. Here it comes. Come on. 5 seconds. Get up the wall. Get up! He's staring at it! Come on! Time is up! Sasha! An incredible breakout run! Chopped down by the Great Wall! Absolutely chopped down the Great Wall! But what an incredible breakout run! On his very first go at Shin SASUKE's first stage, Sasha took on the hardest obstacles we've had this course with ease, becoming the first person to ever complete the half pipe attack, making a very solid jump to the rope and a clean dismount. But the Great Wall, some of the best runs we've seen have been stopped by this obstacle. Nearly gets up on that attempt, but that is when time ran out and Sasha's incredible debut run comes to an end on the Great Wall. Well, we're going to continue the momentum starting with Neo War Fan. This is their third time competing, I believe it was. They never made it past the fourth obstacle. Could they do that today? Laugh at the jumping spider. Here we go. They get into here. Gets that. Nicely done. Now he's traverse the walls. Looking good so far. Neo War gets a new PB. Well done. Alright, now heading up to the half pipe attack. Here we go. Just neat. We saw Sasha beat this just a few runs ago. And they go down! Slips off the wall and their tournament is over. That is a new personal best, which is what we love to see here on Shin SASUKE. They finally get the jumping spider. But on the half pipe attack, they just stayed on the wall too long. They're now able to make it to the rope in time. And when they try to go for the rope again, they just slip off the wall, lose their footing, and that is it. Their tournament is done. Well, we're going to move on to number 21, Captain, who went down to Walkthrough in the previous tournament. Can he get some redemption here? Oh! Dang it. Well, we're going to move on to number 22. This is Screech. This is another newcomer here on the first stage of Shin SASUKE. The third tournament so far has been burying its teeth with the renewed first stage already. This is the true Enchanted Magic Castle feel. And so far, this course is showing it. Nobody has been able to beat the sixth obstacle on the first stage yet. And the course is already burying its teeth with the new half-pipe attack. That is in the back section, of course, in the fifth position. Not really considered the back half. Alrighty, now for the jumping spider. Here we go, and they overshoot! Screech out on the jumping spider. A solid run ends here. Let's take a look at that, because he had that. As you can see, he gets a really good jump. Just walks off the end, and that is it for Screech. So close on that jump, though. Well, we are already a quarter of the way through the first stage, and nobody has cleared. Maybe Galaxy and Adventures, our next returning competitor, can give us our first clear. Well, already here on the first obstacle, gets through that, and now for the circle hammer. This really has been causing a lot of problems. The faster course already has knocked out 26 competitors so far, with Sasha so far being the furthest competitor today, making it to the Great Wall for running out of time. Galaxian, though, he's never been able to get past the fourth obstacle. Already on to the jumping spider. Here we go. Gets into the walls. Looking good so far here. Traversing, and gets out the jumping spider. They have set a new personal best already. Now for the half pipe attack. Can they become the second to get that rope? Yes, they can! Perfect catch, and they are already at 45 seconds remaining as they head right on up to the Great Wall. 40 seconds now. Misses the rope on their first attempt. Now have to go back for a second. Here we go. Already gonna be down to 30 seconds here. No! Misses again! Bobbing on the sidelines in the back. Just absolute brutality with this faster course. It's showing its toll already. Galaxian, can they get up? No, they cannot. Galaxian, all they can do is keep trying. Come on. No! 10 seconds. Come on. He's saying GG. He knows it. Can he get up the wall? Come on. 2, 1, time. This first stage has already been brutal. Only Saja and now Galaxian have been able to reach the Great Wall, but neither of them have been able to get up it. But still, both of them have set very solid personal bests. But Galaxian just 3 obstacles away from the button. Dane.
7人がクリアしている第1ステージ。内訳は10代2人、20代5人に対し30代のクリアはゼロ。スピード、スタミナの両方が求められるコースはやはり30代には過酷なのか。終盤戦に続々登場するベテラン勢の運命は。
Well, we're gonna move on to our next competitor. This is number 32, Gladiator Chris. Already off on the first stage. They competed before, but they haven't been able to advance past the fourth obstacle. So far, we've seen a few people who've never beaten the fourth obstacle get past the fourth obstacle. Gladiator Chris is already for the circle hammer, heading right on up to the log grip. This course has been difficult so far. We are already through the quarter of the field, and we haven't seen anybody make the seventh obstacle yet. And that is showing signs of concern here. Now for the jumping spider. Here we go. Gets a good jump in. Barely gets in the walls here. Now it's to reverse upwards. Gets that. No! Chris's run ends there on the jumping spider. But at least he said he can go eat turkey now. Just don't eat too much, and we're good. Well, let's keep the momentum going with number 34. LeBron does everything. Another returning competitor. So far, the recurring theme has been returning competitors do well, and newcomers getting absolutely cooked by the Great Wall so far. That is the current theme. This is not a joke. I said that. I just said that. LeBron already on 2, and he's through the circle hammer. Gets up there and headed right up to an old foe, the log grip. This hasn't done too much damage, as some people would have liked, but for good reason. Gets through that and now headed up to the jumping spider. We just saw Gladiator Chris fail this obstacle. Will it be the same fate for LeBron? Hopefully not here. Gets to jump in. Nicely done. Now it's to traverse the walls here. 55 seconds left here. And they go down. LeBron does everything, has been eliminated at the jumping spider, saying GG, and that is a new personal best. Hopefully we'll see him back here in the future. So we're moving on to number 37. This is August. I want to say the full name because it's kind of weird. The way it's shown the name, that's how it is. It's gonna be the same one in the archive. Already on to his first obstacle. He says he's definitely not clearing. Well, we hope you get as far as you can, regardless of the result. Already on to Circle Hammer, and you get the dismount, clean dismount at that. Does meet the same fate like the others did on that obstacle, on that dismount. Now for the lock grip, mounts to the front side. It's really risky, going for the side now, and he's through. 70 seconds now, headed on up to the jumping spider. This has been, what's Nebula doing there? I'm not even gonna answer that. Here we go. Going to shoot. Yes, they do. They get that. Looking good so far. Traversing upwards. Looking for the setup here. Looking for it. Looking for it. No! August! Eliminated by the jumping spider. What even happened there? Let's take a look at that again. He has a really good pace for the first 3 obstacles. This setup here was fine. He was looking good for this log jump here. But any part of this course, any obstacle, any part of it cannot be underestimated. He sets up for the jump here. He jumps up. Well, he's gonna jump up here. He sets up for the jump here. He jumps up, pauses, and just isn't able to make that last ledge. He just doesn't get it, and his tournament is over on the jumping spider. That is a heartbreaking way to end your run, but hopefully we'll see him back here in the future. Well, we're gonna move on to number 39. This is Cool Gamer 102. 100. Cool Gamer last tournament went out on the jumping. I don't remember, was the jumping spider or was it the log grip? I honestly don't remember exactly, but he hasn't had a good track record with the first 4 obstacles. Here he is, the jumping spider. This is the obstacle that took him out of the first tournament. He gets it in the shoot. Nicely done. They're almost down to a minute left here. If he can get off this obstacle, he could get it clear here, maybe. We hadn't had anybody clear ever, not even 40 runs in. He gets to dismount. He has gotten a new personal best. Heading up to the half-pipe attack here. Here we go. Now he has to run across that plank, get on the half-pipe, and get to the rope! No! Overshoots the rope on the half-pipe attack. And that is it. His tournament is over. Our next competitor is a familiar face to this competition. They went out on the first obstacle back in Tournament 1 in an all-cut run. And nearly a year ago, they competed in Blue Ninja Warrior 21, making it all the way to the third stage, finishing in third place overall. They want to get back to the third stage. Blaze number 41 is our next returning competitor, and they have a very high chance that they are going to be our first finisher. They have had experience with the first stage, but this is already uncharted territory. We haven't seen anybody reach the 7th obstacle just yet. And this is already starting to show concerns for our competitors. Looking good so far here. Gets one drop, gets two, and they are through. Almost maybe down to the 70-second mark by the time they reach the jumping spider. And they are now for the jumping spider. Here we go. Gets to jump in. Very fast. Almost very fast paced with the jumping spiders. They get out of it. We hadn't seen anybody beat the Great Wall yet, and we're already over 40 runs in. Gets the rope, and they get the dismount. We hadn't seen anybody fail the dismount at all, which is a good sign. That's what we want to see out at the playing field. Now for the Great Wall, almost down to 40 seconds, and they get up on their first attempt. Now we'll be taking our first look at the slider jump. You have to grab the bar, go down 2 drops, and catch this net, and he gets it! No, he does not! No, he does not! Blaze Powder! The first victim to the slider jump! Speed kills! Speed absolutely kills on the first stage! He was the first person to beat the Great Wall in this tournament. But the slider jump was a complete different story. He gets onto the bar. The first 2 drops don't throw him off. But he transfers to the net. He sets up at the ledge. He pushed his left arm. He's not able to grab the net correctly. And his tournament is over for Blaze Powder. So we're going to move on to number 44. This is Lix, our next newcomer in the list here. Hosts his own competition called Lix Ninja Warrior. Honestly, one of the most underrated courses I have ever seen. And this guy used to be from the Wipeout community of all things. So his building carried over pretty damn well. Already onto the log grip so far. This really hasn't knocked out as many people as we would like, but that's a good sign. Already about to be approaching the 50 competitor mark here, and that is not a good sign. Here we go, now for the jumping spider, and they miss it! There you go, down the jumping spider, but we hope to see them back here in the future. Well, we are now at the halfway point at this first stage. Number 50, Men, will be our next returning competitor. So far, Blaze is the only person to reach the 7th obstacle, the slider jump, but we haven't seen anybody clear this stage. And we're already now about to reach the halfway point of this course. And this has been a very difficult first stage so far. Looking good here. Now he's up to the log grip. He's already passed his new personal best here. Gets those 2 drops and he is through. This faster paced course is definitely been a challenge for everybody. Multiple times on the Great Wall. Chokes on half-pipe attack. Anywhere along this course can get you up. But not me on the jumping spider. Looking good so far here. Traversing the walls. Setting up for the last ledge, and they get that. 50 seconds now. Here we go. Off for the half-pipe attack. This has been the Trollmaker for 3 runs before, but not for Men, and they make it through. 40 seconds now. Head on up to the Great Wall. This is where we've seen a lot of strong runs come to an end, but not for Blaze, and it looks like this could be the end for Men. Here we go. They get up. And now we'll be taking our second attempt at the slider jump. Min's first attempt died. Here we go! They grabbed the net properly, and now they have to climb down. You can go up or over, but he's gonna do it, and he will be the first person to beat the slider jump. Now for the Tarzan rope and the rope ladder. The clock is gonna sound. Come on, man! 50 runs in. Yes, he's done it. Yes, yes. Man, that's become our first survivor of the first stage. The redesigned first stage has been defeated by Min at number 50. 50 runs in, and we finally have our first finisher. Well done, dude. As you can see, this run was flawless. First to the second person to beat the Great Wall, and the first person to beat the slider jump. It's insanely difficult going down, but he took his time, stayed patient, and was able to use that momentum to beat the obstacle, and from there, climb up the Tarzan rope, and then use that to get to the rope ladder, hit the button to top the obstacle, and become our first finisher today. Well done, dude. You absolutely deserve that one. With the second half incoming, can anyone else join him? The redesigned first stage has already shown its massive impact. 50 competitors have taken on the first stage and only one has succeeded. Let's get into the second half as we begin it with number 52, General Fugilin, who has already started his run. I don't know if that's how you say it, but he is a fellow moderator for a few Reddit servers, along with being an active member in the SASUKE Maniac forums and in the Ninja Masters. And it's a good friend of mine, and he's agreed to partake in this competition. Already onto the log grid so far. Now down to only 70 seconds here. Trains for IRL Ninja himself. Some top players in the RW scene train for real life Ninja. Now for the jumping spider though, can he get past this? Going back again, he's had some doubts about the jumping spider, and he gets into the chute. Nicely done. General looking good. No! Oh! What a solid run up until that point. Hopefully we can see you back here in the future. Well done. Well, we're gonna move on to number 55, Real Yo Clay. He has had problems with the jumping spider in the past. In the second tournament, I don't even know how, but he forgot about the speed. He said before he was gonna run, he does forget about the speed this time, and now he gets into the chute. Here we go. Gonna be down to almost a minute here. Gets over there, and he rushes! He rushes! Oh, his tournament is over! The jumping spider has claimed him again! Oh my gosh, this is gonna be a difficult obstacle, in fact. Yikes. Well, let's move on to number 59. This is Titcho04, our next returning competitor. They have had problems with the fourth obstacle. We just saw Clay fail the jumping spider just moments ago. You don't want to fail the jumping spider again, because that was the same obstacle he failed in the previous tournament. Despite no modifications being made to the jumping spider across all three tournaments in Shin SASUKE's reboot, it's still taking out a bunch of competitors, and the faster course is already showing signs of many competitors either wanting to run out of time or they just fall short. Gets into the chute, nicely done. Titcho looking good here. Now has to traverse the walls. He doesn't have shift block as he's using the PlayStation controller. Titcho, one more jump, and he will beat the jumping spider this tournament. He has gotten his redemption. Now this is uncharted territory for him, starting with the half-pipe attack. Here we go. He needs to grab the rope, and he gets it in one. One good swing is all you need here. He's down to almost 30 seconds left. Since he doesn't have shift block, he had to force himself a lot of time to get up the jumping spider. But the Great Wall, and he misses on his first two attempts. This is where not having shift block is really going to be a problem, since you now have to go into first person, which I don't even know is possible on PlayStation. 10 seconds left of the clock here. The clock is already sounding. DJ Titcho 04, DJ Mitch. His time is up. Time's up on the Great Wall. His best performance to date up until that. But that was an incredibly good run for not having shift block on PlayStation. Here we go. He finally beats the jumping spider. This was the jump he went out on didn't fall there, and he was able to conquer the jumping spider and took down the half-pipe attack that some people have failed today, but the Great Wall just did in, and time was his enemy, just like others today. Well done to you, though. Hopefully we'll see you back here in the future. So we're going to move on to number 64, the Tower Ninjas. This is our next returning competitor. They went out on the jumping spider in the previous tournament. They had 91 last time, but now they got bumped down to the 60s. Hopefully they won't take that complaint. Now for the Circle Hammer. That's the wrong way, and he goes down! The Tower Ninja will not be getting back to the jumping spider this tournament. Let's move on to our next competitor. This is Potato Man. Looking good already here on the first obstacle. Now for the Circle Hammer. This just took out Tower. Tack, what are you doing on top of the truck? Can you please get off of that? That is production property. Anyways, let's forget about that and move on to the log grip here. Gets this first drop, gets the second, and they are through. Nicely done. Now head on up to the jumping spider. Here we go. Potato Man got to the 7th obstacle in the previous tournament. Here we go. He gets the jump and he undershoots! He will not reach the 7th obstacle. Takes a complete step backwards on the jumping spider, and his tournament is over. So we are down to our last 19 runs on the first stage. Our next competitor is somebody who landed in the top 10 in the previous tournament, and they are ready for revenge. That person is Caldera. Last tournament, they beasted through some of the most challenging obstacles Shin's first stage had to offer, only just to come up 3 seconds too late on the very last obstacle rope glider, just timing up from the button, almost punching himself a ticket to the second stage. Landing in the top 10 overall, and he's back with some redemption here, and he gets revenge. Let's see if we can beat the redesigned first stage. Already into the Circle Hammer here. 90 seconds now, looking good so far. Here we go, gets that. 85 now, heading into the log grip. He's had experience on virtually every obstacle in the first stage last tournament, but the redesigned first stage has so far been showing its teeth. Only one person has cleared, and we're already into number 82 so far. Not a good sign, but looking good so far here. Already through the jumping spider, taking the sideways strategy, and it pays off. 60 seconds now, heading into the half-pipe attack. Looking good here. Across the half-pipe, grab the rope! Jesse's got it! Well done, dude! Heads up to the Great Wall now. Gonna be down to 45 seconds here. He has plenty of time, but this is where he struggled in the past. Misses on his first attempt. Now he has to go back for a second. Here we go now. Gonna be down to 35. Oh, misses again. Come on, dude. You can do this. You know you can. Can't even get to the rope now. 25 seconds remaining as he slips down. Here we go. 20 seconds now. That clock is missed again! Caldera, come on, dude! No! Oh my goodness! Come on! He's now gonna have only 10 seconds! Go! Jesse's getting up the wall! Now for the slider jump! Here we go! He's going for it! He jumps the bar and he goes down! Come on! 2 seconds! Come on! Come on! No! Not again! Out of time once again! Just one obstacle earlier on the Tarzan rope, and his tournament is over. Oh, dude! The faster course showing its teeth. He is not happy about that. Let's take a look at this again. The Great Wall tore up most of his time on the clock. He has to rush the slider jump, which in situations like this, you don't want to do that if you have enough time. But he just timed out at the very beginning on the Tarzan rope and just came up 8 seconds too late. If he had 10 more seconds, he would have made it. Well, we're moving on to our next competitor. This is Waffle Fox. They got up the Great Wall in the previous tournament, and this, so far, could be the run. They got to the 7th obstacle. They completed the Great Wall inside this island, just barely. Gets with the Circle Hammer. Why did he go back? I don't know. Anyways, let's move on to the log grip here. Going backwards. So he's on the front of the log. Looking good. Oh, almost he rails it, but he saves it. All right. Minor save there. Heading to the jumping spider. He's going to be down to a minute here when he gets into this chute here. As he does. All right. Nicely done. He's doing good on time so far. But we've seen that even if you have a ton of time, by the time you get to the Great Wall, it can either make your run or break your run. Head into the half-pipe attack now. Waffle Fox, here we go. Runs across the half-pipe attack. Then he gets to the rope and he overshoots! Out of all places! He will not get back to the Great Wall. He will not get to reach the 7th obstacle, and his tournament is over. Oh my gosh. Wow. Some people call him the ultimate dark horse. Others call him Skillicle. Our next challenger has been waiting for a very long time to want to compete in Shin SASUKE. But today is your day. Some people call him the ultimate dark horse. For Skillicle, he's a man on a mission. Can he win the Nameless Olympics tonight? Well, there's Skillicle now on the first stage. He is wearing number 84 here, and this is his first time competing. A very notable competitor, has gotten as far as the 3rd stage in some really good competitions here. Already out to the circle hammer. He's had some janky circle hammers to deal with in the past, but not this one. Here we go. Now already on to 80 seconds left here. Heading into the log grip. Gets the first drop and gets the second drop, and they are through. Skillicle getting a bit of a crowd watching here already. Not really much of a crowd per se, but now heading on to the jumping spider, and they land in the chute. Going fast here, and they do it. They have the potential to get the speed record in the 1st stage. That could very much be an advantage later on. Maybe. It's not really much an advantage if you get the fastest time. Just know that you just go really fast as hell. Anyways, onto the Great Wall. 45 seconds as he misses his first attempt. Skillicle misses his second. Not having enough jump to get up there as he misses the rope. A little better this time though, but 30 seconds left as he misses his rope again. The clock winding down. Skillicle, if he doesn't do something, he's gonna have to go and push on the throttle. Push on the throttle, Skillicle. Come on, get up. Yes, here we go. 15 seconds left. He's gonna have to put the pedal to the metal here on the slider jump. He cuts over to that. Come on, 10 seconds. Go, Skillicle, go. Go. Come on. There's up to the wrong one. The button's right there. Go, Skillicle. He's crushes the railing. Come on, the button's right there. He gets the button. Yes. Skillicle. Put his skin up his teeth. Clears the 1st stage. He's moving on. He's moving on. He clears with exactly 100 seconds, and he will move on to the 2nd stage. And for a debut run, that was electrifying. Tore down the first 5 obstacles. He, after running into trouble on the Great Wall, he tore through the final 4 obstacles and was able to clear with exactly 100 seconds left. 100 seconds and no more. We'll be seeing you in the 2nd stage. Great job on a debut run. Well, we're going to move on to number 85. This is our next returning competitor, Ben Z. Last tournament, they had a breakout run, getting all the way to the Great Wall in the previous tournament. But now they want to up that and clear the 1st stage. One of the highest playing ETO kata players gets for the log grip there, nicely done. The faster course so far, we've seen only 2 people hit the button today. Can Ben become our 3rd? Let's see. Now for the jumping spider, gets that. Well done. Here we go. Traversing the walls here. Traversing, and they get for the jumping spider. Gonna be down to 55 seconds here as he heads into half-pipe attack. Here we go. We just saw this take out Waffle Fox a few hours ago, but it's not gonna get Ben. Looking good here. Going up the plank here. And it's gonna be down to 45 seconds heading up to the Great Wall. This is what stopped his run in the previous tournament here, as he misses the rope on his 1st attempt. Here we go. Going for another attempt here. Oh my, no! He slips down. Now he's gonna have to go for another attempt here. Come on, Ben. No! Once more, misses again. If he's gonna have to get through in the next few attempts, if he wants to have any virtual chance of completing this stage here. And I don't think he's gonna have enough time on the clock to finish the rest of it. Oh, misses again. Bin Z, a carbon copy of his first attempt. 10 seconds left. Bin Z, can he at least get up? Yes, he can. Yes, he can. Now with the slider jump, 2 seconds, 1 second. Time's up. That is time. Bin Z has become the latest victim to the slider jump. He was not going to make that net anyways. All that energy he used on the Great Wall just caused him to run low and times out on the slider jump. Let's take a look at this again. He finally gets up on that attempt there as he grabs the bar down. He lines back up at the push wall and he's not able to get a good jump off, and his tournament is over. Well, Finn had a great run up until that point, getting to the 7th obstacle. Well, let's move on to another competitor. This is Nightplex. They have had experience with the first stage. Last tournament, they went up on the Jumping Spider. The tournament before, they got all the way to the 6th obstacle. Nightplex is our next fraternity competitor. Can they clear the first stage today? Here we go. Here's the clock here as they are off on the first stage here. Gonna be good so far. Looking good. Here we go. Head on up to the Circle Hammer. So far, the faster course has already seen only 2 people finish it, and we're not even into the 90s yet. So, starting to show a little bit of concern here, but this was the obstacle he went in the Classic era, but it's not going to get him. Here we go. Head on over to the Jumping Spider. They want to get this first stage clear. Can they make it free? This is where he went out last time. Got it! Not this time. Here we go. Finzy. Well, Knight gets through the Jumping Spider too. Here we go. Now for the hot pipe attack. Here we go. We just saw Waffle fall victim to this, but it will not get Knight. Nicely done there on the Great Wall. Head up to the Great Wall now. Finishes off the half pipe attack. Head up to the Great Wall. Here we go. If he can get this in 1 attempt, he will have a very high chance, and he does. He has gotten revenge. But now for the slider jump. Here we go. He's still. Oh my gosh. Okay, I thought he was gonna go with the bar with it. Here we go. He's gonna have plenty of time here to get this one. Gets this net down. He has to climb down. Right. The latest victim of the slider jump. Looks like he had it, and his tournament is over too! Just like Finn, the latest victim of the slider jump is Knight!
And I just thought to myself, this is... if I don't clear, I'm gonna be sad the rest of my life, and that's just what happened. Slider jump just got to me, and yeah.
So, our next competitor is number 89, Tons, who is our next veteran. Last tournament, they finished in 4th place overall, making it all the way to the medal spin in the 2nd stage. They were the first person to beat the unstable bridge last tournament. Now the expectations are high to get back. Can Tons go further? Well, we know he can. Hosts his own competition called Ninja Island, released his first episode of Tournament 4. Go watch that if you haven't. During a partnership with him, hopefully in the future, but it would be kind of cool. Anyways, already down to 60 seconds here, heading into the Jumping Spider. He's looking good so far as he gets out the Jumping Spider. Prefer to run with caution. However, caution might not be your best friend on this course, especially with the faster obstacles like the Circle Hammer, the Half Pipe Attack, and of course, the slider jump. Here we go. Gets up on his first attempt. Here we go. He now has 35 seconds here. Here we go. Grabs the bar. Slides down these 2 drops. No! Touches down! Of all people! No way! What just happened? That is his first time ever he's fallen victim to the first stage. Oh my goodness. Let's take a look at this again. As you can see, he grabs the bar. He's able to slide down those 2 drops. But he just gets caught up on the push wall of the bar. And he's not able to even make it to the net. Well, we're gonna move on to our next competitor. This is number 89, Bomlom. They cleared the first stage in the previous tournament, but before the second stage was about to commence, he had to leave as he was in Texas during the time of taping the tournament, so he could not run the second stage. But now he knows he can get to the second stage. He wants to get to the third stage. Now, just in this competition's history, only 3 attempts have been made on this stage. Only 2 of them, Addison Judah and Bowley. We're both going to see them run later in the broadcast here. Looking good here. Head on up to the half-pipe attack here. Going to be down to a minute here. He looks like he can go for the speed record right here on the first stage here in the Reboot era. Exotic's 40-second clear back in the classic era is not going to really be available to get here. But he can demolish ABS and make any more mistakes. This is where we saw Tons go out. Goes over the net, and he is through. He's going to have the fastest time right here. And now for the rope ladder. He's climbing up. He's climbing up. Bomlom with the fastest time of the tournament. 28 seconds left on the clock. He is moving on. Let's take a look at that slider jump again. He skips the whole net. And he's able to push that red button and move on to the second stage. We'll be seeing him there. Well, we're going to move on to number 90. We are almost in the last 10 runs of the broadcast here. Head on there. Gets through the circle hammer. Now head on to the log grip. Ozzy last tournament went out on the salmon ladder. Can they get back to the salmon ladder? I believe they can. Here we go. Head on to the jumping spider. 70 seconds now. Head on up to the obstacle. Nebula, what are you doing in the background? Anyways, he's not a competitor. Let's just forget about him for now. Anyways, we're going to move on to the jumping spider. Hazi, set himself up for these long jumps, and he gets through those. 55 seconds now. Head on up to the half-pipe attack. Here we go. Hazim. So far, we have already seen... so far, Tons has failed to make it back to the second stage. Bomlom has failed to clear. Azim! Oh! So far, we are 1 for 2 of the 8 people. 9 people made the second stage in the previous tournament. But now it looks like it could be... Oh, no. Oh, my God. Please. No! Misses again! So far, it's 1 for 2 on the first stage for the previous clears. Going back again. 15 seconds. I don't know if he's going to have enough time. Come on! Can he get up? 10 seconds! Come on! 5! 3 seconds! 2! He's not even gonna do it! Just exhausted! Time is up on the first stage, and we are now 1 for 3! Time is up, and his tournament is over! Wow! Well, let's move on to number 91. This is Clancy. They cleared the first stage in the previous tournament, also went down the salmon ladder. Here we go, looking good on this part right here. And they are through. They're on to the last 10 runs. We are 1 for 3 here on the people that cleared the second stage last time. Clancy, he's gone bad, no! Clancy's down too! Oh my gosh, we are now 1 for 4! From the last people that cleared the first stage, Bomlom's still the only person to clear! Well, we're gonna move on to number 92. This is Matrix Star. They are a ETL player as well. They have become the second ETL focused player to compete in Shin SASUKE right after Finzi. Can he match Finzi's performance of making the slider jump earlier today? Go on the backside of the lock grip here. Gets the first drop. Gets the no! He almost had the second drop. And his tournament is over. We are not going to see him make this fourth obstacle at all. What a good run up until that point. Sandy got jump scared. But you can't really do much about that anymore nowadays. Still, what a very good run. Hope we will see him in the future. Enderism is by far one of our strongest competitors, hosted the challenge, and one of our most creative competitors. Number 93, Enderism takes on the first stage for his first time. This is his very first appearance, and he wants to do well. He said if he can get past the 4th obstacle, he'll be solid with that. But we all know we want to see somebody clear. So far, only 2 people have been able to clear the first stage today. And that is not a very good look. The faster course so far has already proven to be an absolute factor. Here we go, head on to the jumping spider. Here we go. Good jump into the tube. Nicely done. Enderism, looking good. Enderism, got it. Here we go. Now head on to the half pipe attack. This is he said he was gonna go out here. Alright, here we go. Gets the grab on the rope. He will not fall victim to the half pipe attack here. Looking good so far. 50 seconds left here. The clock on the set is already having a malfunction here, so I don't even know if this is a production issue or this is just a timer malfunction. This is definitely a timer malfunction. Here we go. Misses the rope again. 35 seconds left here on the clock here. Misses once more. He's got 30 seconds here. Can he get up the wall? Yes, he can. Here we go. 25 seconds now. Grabs the bar. Here we go. No! Tries to skip the net completely, and it backfires. The slider jump has claimed its latest victim, and that is Enderism. Hopefully we can see him back here in the next tournament. That was a very good debut run. Our next competitor has been waiting 4 months to get back to Shin SASUKE. In the original Classic tournament, they were nearly just 2 obstacles away from finishing the 2nd stage. Hatsumiko is back to take on the course. They want to go further. They want to prove they still got it. 90 seconds now, head on to the circle hammer. A little bit of struggle. And they get the dismount. Nicely done, Hatsumiko. 4 months away after being exiled, they are back. They want to show that they don't care what others think. If you just be yourself, you'll go far. Here we go. Now for the jumping spider. They are, so far, they have one of the craziest clear rates already with this first stage. We have already seen 2 people make it to the button, and nobody else has been able to do that. Here we go. Grabs the rope with the half pipe attack, and they are through. Gonna be at 50 seconds now. Head on after the Great Wall. They have not seen the faster course, but they are adapting to it very well, and they get up on their first attempt. They can go for Bob-Bomb's time right now. Here we go. Now for the slider jump, and they get the net. Here we go. Looking good. Climbing down, and they are through. 30 seconds left. I don't think they're going to have enough time to get the fastest time, and the fastest time will be out of the question. But Hatsumiko has returned. Hatsumiko is back on the 2nd stage 4 months later. Well done, dude. Well flippin' done. One of the faster times of the stage today, and our 3rd finisher has arrived. They want revenge on the 2nd stage, and they will have a chance. Grabs the rope on the half pipe attack and goes down on the slider jump. One of the strongest ones we've seen today. And after that, the rest of the course is smooth sailing, hitting the button to become our 3rd finisher today. Well, we're going to move on to number 96. This is Rich C. Last tournament, they got to the 2nd stage, but they became the first victim of the unstable bridge. Here we go, looking good on the clock here so far. Already off on the very first obstacle. Looking good so far here. Rich, can he become our 4th clear today? Looking good so far here on the circle hammer. Needs to push the rope down. Easier versus the metal spin. However, Rich has never faced the metal spin in this competition. The first tournament he competed in, went out on the jumping spider, then improved on that and get it all the way to the unstable bridge. They have failed the 4th obstacle in the first stage last time. They failed the 4th obstacle again. Not gonna get him this time on the jumping spider, as he looks good here. Traversing the walls, traversing, and he is through. Looking good so far, heading up to the half pipe attack. Here we go. Skillco watching on the sidelines. We'll be seeing him in the 2nd stage later today. Here we go. Gets that. So far, he could become our 5th finisher today. I forgot Ming cleared earlier. Sorry, man. Anyways, they're looking good here. Heading on to the slider jump. We just saw this take out tons and Endrism as they go down. Oh my gosh! Okay, I thought they were gonna miss that, but they are good on time. Not gonna have the fastest time today, but Rich is back. He has returned. Rich Squigs is back, ladies and gentlemen. He is back, and he has one of the second fastest time today. We'll be seeing him in the second stage once more. Well done, Rich. So we're gonna move on to our next competitor, number 97. This is Volvino. Here we go. Last tournament, he went out on the flying shoe in horrific fashion after nearly making it to the second stage in the previous tournament. He wants to get back to the 7th obstacle. More importantly, he wants to make the 3rd stage. That was his wish this tournament. If he wants to make the 3rd stage, he's gonna have to beat the faster 1st stage. So far, we have 5 people on the 2nd stage. And so far in the last couple runs, we have not seen a lot of success so far already. Other than Rich, who was cleared just a few minutes ago. Same with Hatsune. Here we go. Gets the rope on the half-pipe attack, and they are through. Coming up to the Great Wall. Here we go. 50 seconds now. They could clear the fastest time right now if they wanted to. As they get up in 1. Here's the 7th obstacle. It's time for revenge. Can Volvino get his revenge? Yes, he can! Yes, he can! Volvino is gonna go back to the 2nd stage here. Volvino has got his revenge on the 1st stage. Volvino is back! Volvino has returned! Volvino! He's gonna go back to the 2nd stage! And he has one of the fastest times this tournament! Oh my gosh! Wow! He's done it again! So we're gonna move on to number 98, Mao. Last tournament, he got 3rd place. He was just 1 second away from making the 3rd stage. Not the 2nd stage. He was 1 second away from making the 3rd stage in the previous tournament. He wants to get back to the 2nd stage again. And he wants to go to the 3rd stage here. Here we go. Now head on to the jumping spider. He hasn't had problems with this so far. So far, the clear streak so far is looking good. No! Oh my gosh! The clear streak is over! That is it! He's not gonna move on to the 2nd stage! Again! He was 1 second away from making the 1st stage last tournament, and this time he goes backwards! Oh my gosh! What in the world? Let's take a look at this again. As you can see here, he just didn't get a good jump off the trampoline, and his tournament is done. Wow! In the last tournament, Addison Judah was the first person to ever progress past the Shin cliffhanger. Addison Judah is a war machine in a literal term. Addison Judah, however, their tournament will end on the 7th obstacle almost instantly, and they've shown that they want to go far again and take this tower down. Here we go. As you can see, the course is starting to come down to dark as we head into the last 2 runs of the 1st stage. Our first specialist, number 99, Addison Judah. Can they aim to win the Nameless Olympics tonight? Here we go again. Addison Judah, 100 seconds away from punching a ticket back to the 2nd stage. Can they take this fight to the tower tonight? Here we go. And here we go. Addison Judah is off on the 1st stage yet again. Addison Judah has begun their 4th attack at the 1st stage. So far, we have seen not a whole lot of success with the 1st stage already, but we have 6 people on the second stage, and that is a very good amount. We are already way past the record here that we set back in Tournament 1 when 4 people cleared. We have 2 more than that. So far, we definitely don't have the chance to tie the record or break it due to the difficulty of the first stage reaching already. But as Judah just tears up the jumping spider, and they are through. 60 seconds now, heading on up to the Great Wall. Here we go. Looking to grab this rope here. As Judah gets the rope. As Judah is through. 50 seconds remaining. Here we go. Looking good here. Heading on up to the Great Wall. This is where we've seen Addison. Oh, misses the first attempt. 40 seconds now. Can he get up on 2? No, they cannot. Time shouldn't be a factor here, but it will not be for Addison Judah. Heading on to the slider jump. Here we go. Gets the first drop, gets the second, and onto the net. And they got it. Now you have to climb down. Addison! Oh my God! That is it! Their tournament is over! What in the world did I just witness? Say it isn't so! Addison Judah has failed the first stage for the first time ever! They will not progress! And now it's up to Bowling, the last specialist, to take this fight to the tower! Oh my goodness! So there's only one person left in the competition that can make it 7. Bowling is our last person left to run the first stage. In the last tournament, they nearly finished the third stage, failing the ending jump of the platform on the third stage. They know they can go so much further, but can they beat the unforgiving first stage here? Gets this first drop, gets this second. Bowling has never failed the first stage in all of his appearances on Shin SASUKE. He's completed this stage 4 times, just like Addison. But even if you have 100% clear rate, anything can mess you up. We just saw Addison fail the slider jump, failing the first stage for the first time. Bowling, he grabs this rope. Yes, he can. Mr. 100. You know he wants to take this tower down. He wants to become champion. Here we go. If you can get up in 1 attempt. Oh, misses. Here we go. Bomblon looks like he might have that fastest time in his hands here. Looking good so far already, though. As he gets up, here we go. This is the point. This is the obstacle. We just saw Addison fail. Gets his front drop. Gets his second. Yes! Bowling. He's going to have plenty of time on the first stage. Bowling is back! Bowling makes it 7 people on the second stage. And our final competitor is moving on yet again. Bowling took on the first 6 obstacles with absolute brilliance. He was able to get his revenge on the slider jump, grabs his bar, and goes over the first 2 drops and gets the net. And the rest is smooth sailing. Bowling finishes with 20 seconds left. Our fastest time, one of the fastest times today as we end the first stage. Great job to Bowling, and we'll be seeing him in the second stage. If there's a time and place for someone to beat the third stage, the time is now. 100 competitors started the journey today here at Midoriyama, and only 5 people are remaining in this competition with a chance to achieve total victory. This is our first competitor to take the stage, our first newcomer, number 84, Skillical. Skillical is 8 obstacles away from punching his ticket to the final stage, but these 8 obstacles are extraordinarily difficult, starting with the arm rings. As to navigate the rings down the track, this has only been attempted by 2 people in competition ever, and now 4 different people will be attempting it tonight. 5 remaining, 1 newcomer, and 3 veterans, and 1 specialist. We'll start this stage with Skillical and end with Bowling. Bowling's currently on the sideline. Skillical shouting at the arm rings. Here we go, gets over that gap. Just been struggling for a bit here on this stage. There is no clock. That is just how difficult this stage is. Skillical gets the ring over there. Now he has to go up these last 2 vertical pipes here. Horizontal and vertical bumps here. Struggling already. This is meant to be a strength drainer, not meant to wear you out. It is also a very good time waster too. Skillical, not looking too good so far, but he's trying to get somewhere here. Bowling shouting something that we don't know what he said. Yeah, he's looking decent so far here on this stage. Skillical, if he can get over this, yes he can. And now he has to transfer directly into the arm bike. Here we go. He has to click that. Now he has to reach over from the reins and go into this next obstacle, the arm bike. You have to pedal this bike down the track and make it to the end doing wraparounds. This has only been attempted by Addison and Bowling. Addison not here tonight, shockingly, on New Year's Day. But this could very much be a breaking point for somebody. But Skillical's looking like he's at home here. Almost slips off. And now he can dismount. We'll be taking our first look at double steps here tonight. You have to climb up those 3 sets of steps. Then go to the next one. Here we go. Going up on this first step here. Up on the next one. Here we go. Now for this longer step, going up to the second. Here we go. And when he gets to the top, he'll have to cross over a whole step. Here we go. He gets that transfer. Skillical will be the first person to beat the double steps this tournament. And now it's on to the obstacle that just a few months ago looked unbeatable, the Shin cliffhanger. Here we go. He has to make the reach up to this angled ledge, then jump to the thicker ledge, the third ledge. Skillical gets that jump, and he has become the 3rd person ever to defeat the Shin cliffhanger in competition. Skillical, what a strong run. And now it's time for the back half, starting with the jumping bars. You have to swing from bar to bar to bar. Skillical bams to swing and he undershoots! Skillical's tournament is over! Doesn't gain up momentum, but what an incredible breakout run, gained all the way to the 5th obstacle in the 3rd stage, handled the first 3 obstacles, and took down the Shin cliffhanger. But on the jumping bars, he just did not get enough swing here. He's able to hit the 2nd bar, but he does not get enough momentum to make that jump, and his tournament is over. He put on a very good performance, and Shin SASUKE's production is now on high note for this future competitor. Could he take this tower down in the next tournament? Hopefully, we'll see. Well done to him. So we are down to 4 people remaining in the competition with a chance to reach the top of the tower. This is number 89, Famlam, our first veteran, beginning his trek across these 8 obstacles, starting with the arm reins, going way faster than Skillical already to this point. Here we go. Gets that bump. Last 2 gaps. And he is through. Now for the arm bike, we just saw Skillical beat this. Famlam, some say he is an underdog if he makes it to the 3rd stage. And so far, he's looking like he could show this. giving off very similar vibes to bowling in Tournament 1. They got to the Shin cliffhanger. He took some rest here. We're going to cut that out and head on to the double steps. Here we go. He needs to climb up those first 2 sets of steps. Ooh, misses a step, and he's good though. Now he has to climb up. When you get to the top, you have to transfer to the 3rd set of steps. You're hanging off of a ledge. A whole set of stairs, 15 feet up. Here we go. Needs to transfer down to the next set, and he will now move on to the Shin cliffhanger. Here we go. Not even gonna rest, he goes right into it. Kissed his ankles, ledge, and he goes down! Boblov rushes the Shin cliffhanger, tries to span the gap, and that does not work! Oh my goodness, this is one of the most weirdest fails I've seen. He tries to rush the gap, and he's not able to get any momentum off of the obstacle. Well, we're gonna move on to our next competitor. This is Rich Z. He has been a contender to make the 3rd stage. A year ago, he competed in Balloon Ninja Warrior 21 and made it all the way to the 5th obstacle of the 3rd stage. Can he punch his ticket to the final stage tonight? He's one of 3 people still standing with chance at total victory, and he has begun the Iron Reigns. He recently switched over from mobile to PC. So, we'll see how that works out for him. He was known for being better on mobile, but can he do any better on PC? Hopefully that won't be an issue. Richie's already looking like his former self here. Looking good. Gets this last vertical gap, and he is now to the arm bike. Here we go. Will be the 4th person to attempt it. Rich gets this first wrap. Here we go. Now for the solo! Oh my god! Rich is down! Rich is down on the arm bike! The first victim of all places you could go out here! He gets this first wrap with no issue, but this second wrap, he just, oh my gosh, falls off as it's moving forward. He's not able to turn all the way around, and his tournament is over. Rich is not going to the final stage today. Fails the 3rd stage. Well, hopefully we'll see him in the future. Down. The sun has begun to rise at Midoriyama, and only 2 competitors are still remaining in the fight to reach the top of the tower and become champion. But both of these competitors have never made it to the final stage in Shin SASUKE. Our next competitor is a man on a mission. They waited 10 years to reach the summit, but they've had a consistency of bad luck with the 3rd stage. But it is known that if he gets to the final stage, he could win it all. It's that man right there, number 97, Bobo, making his first ever 3rd stage appearance here at Midoriyama on Shin SASUKE. In the past 10 years, there's one thing on his bucket list that he's never been able to check off. Make the final jump on the 3rd stage. That is this man right here. In his 10 years of RNW, and from the States Republic, he's never been able to advance to the final stage, having failure after failure on the 3rd stage. But he is proven to be the true ultimate dark horse on the final stage. But that is if he gets there. On New Year's Day, he has had an absolute redemption story. Could he put it all together and take a run for the tower? Here we go. Volvino. Can he put it all to rest after 10 years? Can he finally earn a trip to the final stage? Here we go. Starting off on the Iron Reigns. This has been uncharted territory for Volvino. Never been able to make the final, but this could be the run. Alright, for the first obstacle, now for the Iron Bike. Here we go. We just saw Rich nail this. That's gotta be in the back of his head here. Volvino looking good. Volvino looking good! Volvino! Alright. And he will not fall on the Arm Bike. Now for the devil steps. It's to climb up, down, up, then down those steps. Here we go. He has begun the devil steps. Here we go. Gets this first set. Gets the second. Gets the third. Gets the fourth. Climbing up. He's climbing up. Here we go. Looking good so far. Here we go. Nice to transfer to the next step. Now he's gotta go down. Here we go. Gets that. Gets that. And he is at to the cliffhanger now. Good run so far. Here we go. Now we have the Shin cliffhanger. Hey! Can somebody give us back this footage, please? What do you mean you didn't record it? Okay, you're fired. You're fired. Well, we are on to the next piece of unknown footage here. Volvano beat the cliffhanger and the jumping bars, but apparently somebody forgot to record that, so... Well, it was really corrupted. I couldn't do much about it. Volvano is now to the spider flip. He has become the third person to ever attempt this obstacle. Here we go. Gets this first part. You have to crawl under this ivy and make it to the next section here. Here we go. Now he has to climb up. Here we go. Here's the jump. Come on! Jesse's got it! Jesse's got it! Volvano is one obstacle away! He's one obstacle away! Can he make his dream of the final stage come true? This is now the final obstacle, the final ring. Only Bowling has been able to attempt this last tournament, and he ultimately failed the final jump. Volvano, he does not want to fall again on the third stage. Can he make the run happen? This is his moment. This is his chance. Can he finally reach the final? He wants to take this fight to the tower. Like he said, he's waited 10 years. That's far too long. Can he do the unthinkable tonight? Can he push himself to the heavens? Volvano's looking good. He's almost to the end here. When he gets the ring to the end, he'll have to slide the ring to the end, and you have to build up swing for the final jump. Volvano, he's almost to the end here. Just a bit more, and then he can start building up swing to make this final jump. And he's now at the end. Come on, Volvano! Dig deep! Dig deep! Come on, Volvano! Is this your moment? Don't let this stage beat you again! Volvano, go for the jump! Yes! He's going to the final stage! He's going to the final stage! Volvano! The 10-year curse has been broken! He's broken the curse! He's broken the curse! Volvano is going to climb the final stage tonight! On New Year's Day, history has been made! Let's get this run! Absolutely tore the first 5 obstacles, and then from there, he just took on a very unforgiving back half. The final 2 obstacles, got for the spider flip, and from there, he made it to the end jump of the third stage. This was the jump he failed. Back in the watch, he is up in 2. But tonight, he overcame the jump barrier that he's never been able to break through. And this is the moment right here. Volvano made the breakthrough. Took one last swing and made the final jump. He will climb the final stage tonight. Will Bowling be able to join him? We'll have to wait and see. Let's head down to the platform where...
Yep.
You waited 10 years for this moment. 10 years.
10 years.
How are you feeling going into the final stage? Well, Volvano, congratulations to you. We are going to be seeing you take on that final stage later today. So there's only one person still remaining with a chance to reach the promised land of the final stage. Volvano completed this stage earlier tonight for his first time. Can Bowling, Mr. 100, our only specialist remaining in the competition, join Volvano at the final stage? He's fallen on the third stage twice now. The first tournament, it was the Shin cliffhanger. The second time, it was the final jump on the final ring. He wants to get back to the final ring and take revenge on the third stage. Knight Flex on the sidelines with him. Knight was eliminated in this first stage on the slider jump that tournament. That was today. Can Bowling go to the final stage on New Year's Day in 2026? Here we go. Gets this halfway through the arm bike already. So far, Bowling is not going to fall victim to the arm bike. Alright, now for the devil steps. This so far hasn't posed too much of a threat for the playing field. Needs to go up, then down the steps here. Turns around, and now has to climb up these first two sets of stairs. These first two sets of stairs here. Looking good so far. Looking good. Now for the second set. When you get to the top of the second set, you have to turn around. Bowling, will he become the first victim to the devil steps? Let's see. No, he will not. Now for some familiar territory, the Shin cliffhanger. He did go down. This is tournament 1. Tournament 2, he beat it. And he's going for the momentum again. And he's got it once more. Bowling is back through the Shin cliffhanger for the second time. That is probably going to be our last attempt we'll ever see on the Shin cliffhanger. If Bowling and Volvno could make the final stage together, that would be historic. Here we go now for the jumping bars. He has had no problem with the jumping bars, climbing bars, and spider flip in the past. That was the last tournament. However, the spider flip can still be failable. We saw what happened to Addison in the previous tournament. Shockingly, like I said before, Addison not present on the third stage. So Boy is the last specialist here, head into climbing bars. Needs to go up a set of angled monkey bars to reach the top. Oh, whoa! Almost ended his season right there. Almost ended his whole tournament right there, but he's good. Knight watching on. We have one person going to the final. Bowling can make it too. On New Year's Day, here we go. He's trying to get a decently good setup, but something's... He's not able to do a ledge grab. Because what he did last time, he did was a ledge grab. For some reason, it's not letting him even do the ledge grab. So he's gonna have to do a sideways strategy. Now this is way harder as there's a head hitter in play. But I think he's gonna try and go for the head hitter. Is he gonna go for the setup here? Let's see. Is he gonna go for the setup here? He's trying to figure out what to do. Gets this first jump. Next one. He's gonna do it again. And he gets it! Will not fall on spider flip. Here we go. He's back at the jump again. We saw him do this same jump with a crowd watching, but with just not in the sidelines. All of that pressure should be off very much. Here we go. Looks like he's going for the jump, and he's got it. Here we go. He is now back at the final ring. One obstacle away. He took some rest there. We'll cut that out. He is one obstacle away from the final stage too. Can he get himself some redemption? Can he get redemption? 6 months since he started competing on Shin SASUKE's Reboot era. He's never been able to get a crack at the final stage. He's never been able to get a crack at the final stage. Is this Bowling's moment after all? Skillical saying good luck. Skillical was eliminated on the jumping bars. Knight was eliminated. Everyone else, 98 people have been eliminated. And only Volvno and Bowling are still in the running for total victory. Volvno's going to the final, but Bowling's fate, however, is still yet to be decided. He wants to get back to that final jump before he started this run. He said he just wanted to get back to this last jump. If he can get back there, he can definitely complete it. Let's go coming back now. But Bowling does have some good technique though. He's shoving the ring, making it go sideways, so he's able to move it down a little bit quicker. Again, this is not the gliding ring. This is the final ring. And for very good reason. Here we go. Already gonna be down to about 5 minutes in on this course minimum. The question is, how far can you go? That is the question you can ask. And just a bit more. He's just got a bit more between him and the final stage. That music is getting way more tense as we go. Almost to the end here. Here we go. He is almost to the end. Just needs to slide this ring a bit more. He is now on. He's been on this course for almost 6 whole minutes. Here we go. Gets this jump. Been on this course for almost 7 whole minutes now. Bowling. This is it. This is revenge. If he can make that jump, he will join Volvino at the final stage. Bowling. Destiny lies in the hands of this final jump, like it's done for so many other people. Building up swing here on the final ring. He's building up swing on the final ring. He's not going for the jump just yet. Here we go. Oh! Oh! Yes! He's done it! He's done it too! He's going to the final stage as well! We have 2 people taking on the final stage tonight. Bowling by the skin of his teeth is going to the final stage. Bowling is going to have a chance to climb the magic castle of steel as well. What a run! What a run it has been for Bowling. 3 tournaments in 6 months. He's finally earned the trip to the final stage, and he will not be alone. Tears down the first 4 obstacles, conquering the Shin cliffhanger, and then even after a slight scale on the jumping bars, he was able to not only take down a brutal 3rd stage, but not only that, he was able to get himself some absolute redemption. Look at this! This was how close he was to not making the final stage. But today is his day. We are going to be having 2 people on the final stage out of 100 competitors. Are we going to see history being made tonight? Well, it's time for Destiny to give us the final stage.
I already know I won. It's just a matter of actually executing.
And he's going for the momentum again, and he's got it once more. Bowling is back. Here's the jump! Come on! Jesse's got it! Jesse's got it!
I really hope I get to see a concert.
So there's only 2 people remaining in this competition with a chance to take the tower down on New Year's Day. Both Volvino and Bowling have their work cut out for them on New Year's Day. The button is there, and our first competitor is ready to go. He's been waiting for this moment for 10 years. Number 97, Volvino makes his first ever final stage appearance here tonight at Midoriyama Studios. Here we go. He's walking up to the base of this tower. There's only 2 obstacles in front of him. The spider climb. and the broken Tsunobori. 25 seconds are on the clock. 10 years of waiting for his chance hangs in the balance. Will he make history tonight? It all comes down to this. He has 25 seconds to ascend 230 studs into the sky. Here we go! And he's up! Here we go! Oh my goodness! He almost slips down the spider climb, but he's now pacing up. He's racing up. Here we go. 15 seconds head into the broken Tsunobori. Here we go. He's onto the first rope. That clock is about to sound. 10 years he's waited. 10 years he's waited. Can he get to the last rope? Yes, he can. 5 seconds. The bar's right there. Yes, he's done it. Yes, he's done it. He's done it. After 10 years. He's done it! Kansen-Seiha! He has achieved total victory! He has become Shin Sasuke's first Grand Champion! He's finally done it! He has climbed 230 stars into the sky! In just 21 seconds, he has achieved his dream of Kansen-Seiha. Shoves off the base of the tower. And he has done it. He has become champion. Let's take a look at this run again. He almost didn't even get to win. He nearly slips off on the spider climb. But he was able to make it up. And on the final rope, I think this was the moment that a champion was crowned. And he has deserved it. Well done to Volvino, but we'll see if Bowling can take on the final stage and beat it as well. Congratulations to Volvino. So it all comes down to this. 100 competitors started the journey today. 98 have fallen. Volvino succeeded. Can number 100 Bowling finally take this tower down and join him in the heavens? Here we go. He's walking up to the base of this tower. We could see a double sighting tonight. Mr. 100 and Volvino is our Morimoto. Bowling could be our Nagano. And he's up! Here we go! Racing up the spider climb! Almost down to 20 seconds here, heading into the broken Tsunobori! Here we go! He's onto the first rope, and now for the second! 15 seconds left! He is on pace to achieve a total victory! Will we see 2 champions tonight? Will we see a double sighting? Will we see a double sighting? Yes, we will! Yes, we will! He has achieved Kansen-Seiha! We have seen 2 champions tonight on New Year's Day! The Magic Castle of Steel has fallen! The Magic Castle of Steel has fallen! Bowling climbed 230 studs into the sky in 19 seconds! What an incredible tournament it has been! And he has done it! After 6 months, he has finally achieved Kansen-Seiha. Let's take a look at this again. He tore up the spider climb, and after, even with some slip-ups on the broken Tsunobori, he just took this thing down with him. And when he got to the rope, the very final rope, I think everybody knew it was about to go down, and he just did it. There's the moment where you hit the button, and he has become champion. We have seen history. Magic on New Year's Day in 2026. What a tournament it has been. Wow. It's been a long one. Huh. 6 months since you started this thing. Sometimes I wonder, after someone wins, what do you do? Where do you go? Once you achieve your goal, how do you go about your life? That's the questions I sometimes ask myself. But in my head, really, everybody wants to go at it again. Some people have unfinished business. But for me, I think a better chance is to start over from the beginning.